I want to spend a few minutes talking about the simultaneous treatment design. And before I tell you about this design, I want to let you know that it's very rarely used in the literature, and it's unlikely that you're going to come across an example of the simultaneous treatment design. But there are some applications that you might find interesting, and I think it's worth knowing about the design. So, in a simultaneous treatment design, it's just like the name says. There are a number of different treatments that are available, and they're going to be implemented simultaneously. The treatment conditions can be presented at the same time, and it's based on what the participant chooses. Simultaneous treatment designs are a little bit tricky to evaluate. They require more skill and planning and organization than some of the other designs. And at the end of the day, it's really difficult to systematically analyze the effects of the different interventions that are presented because they're presented at the same time. So, this design isn't really good for larger treatment evaluations, but it can be useful when you're assessing preference and preference for treatments. One of the first examples of a simultaneous treatment design in the literature, if you want to get some more information, was by Browning in 1967. And the researchers wanted to decrease grandiose bragging in a 9-year old who had emotional disability and was living in a residential center. And so the staff at the residential center were trained to implement or to simultaneously implement three different interventions. One was contingent praise, the other one was contingent verbal admonishment, and then the third intervention was ignoring. And at any given time, two of the staff would be assigned to each of the conditions. And it turns out actually that the participant went to the staff most frequently who used verbal admonishment. And so we can say that that's what the participant preferred. The simultaneous treatment design, I wanted to talk about it in the alternating treatment design section, even though your book actually doesn't talk about it in alternating treatment design, because they're sort of similar, where you're presenting different interventions and trying to figure out which intervention. Um, the simultaneous treatment design is certainly similar to the alternating treatment design, but the primary difference is that with the alternating treatment design, you're rapidly alternating between different interventions. Whereas with the simultaneous treatment design, all of the interventions are in place. I hope this provides you with a little bit of an overview of the simultaneous treatment design. You'll read an article by Kasdan and Hartman, which I hope will further clarify. It's an interesting design, it's one to be aware of, but I think that you'll be hard pressed to find an example of it in the literature.